Hey, friends, welcome back to our show. Today, I'm going to dive into a topic that has the power to transform your family life in a big way. It's about creating order in the home. Now, before you start thinking, oh, geez, Jordan, this is just another episode about decluttering and cleaning, hold up. There is so much more than that. I want to read you a blog article that's actually on our website. If you go to familiesofcharacter.com and click on the blog tab, Ali McCarthy wrote this blog article back in 2018. And guess what? Her message still rings true. So I just want to read it to you first, and then we'll dive into the rest of the episode. Here we go. She says, striving to make our lives orderly is always difficult, whether we are organizing our homes, working toward self improvement, or realigning our priorities. It can be challenging to make a change, and sometimes it even feels like a chore. With this process of improvement already being so difficult, trying to teach the importance of orderliness to our children is a whole other challenge. But fortunately, St. Gregory of Nyssa has some eloquent insight to help us remember the big picture and why finding order in our daily lives is so important. She goes on to write that St. Gregory of Nyssa saw all of nature as a kind of song. When everything works together the way it is supposed to, it has a rhythm that St. Gregory viewed as music. He says, the accord and affinity of all things with one another, which is controlled in an orderly and sequential manner, is the primal, archetypal, true music. It is this music which the conductor of the universe skillfully strikes up in the unspoken speech of wisdom through these ever occurring movements. End quote. She goes on to write that he believed that the same is true of our lives. When we live an ordered life and strive for what is good for us, then each of our actions become like notes in a song. None of our actions are independent from each other, but they work together to contribute to the grand melody of our lives. And here's what St. Gregory of Nyssa says. He says, in this singing, nature reflects on itself in a certain manner and heals itself. For the proper rhythm of life, which singing seems to me to recommend symbolically, is a cure of nature. For perhaps the very fact that the character of those who live virtuously need not be devoid of the muses, unharmonious and out of tune, is an encouragement to the more sublime state of life. Neither must the string be drawn taut beyond measure, for that which is well tuned certainly breaks when it is strained beyond what that string can bear. Nor, on the contrary, must one slacken the tension immoderately through pleasure, for the soul, which becomes relaxed in such passions, becomes deaf and dumb. In all other matters, we must tighten and relax the tension at the right time, looking at this, that our way of life in the customs may continue always melodious and rhythmical, being neither immoderately slack or strained beyond measure. Ali says, as we continue to strive for orderliness in our daily lives, let us look at the bigger picture and consider the song we are creating. Like St. Gregory indicates, we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves, but find the right balance for what we are capable of in each moment. Thank you, Ali McCaffrey, for your beautiful blog article that still lives on our website. Friends, our homes are meant to be places of rest, restoration, and renewal. They are our launching pad for everything we do. We start out our day at home and we launch out to work. We launch out to school. We launch out into our community, you name it. But when things at home feel chaotic or disorderly and clutter or disorganization take over, it can drain our energy and increase our stress and make us feel like we're constantly behind. So, today we're just going to talk about why order in the home matters, how it impacts our minds and hearts, and most importantly, how you can take small, intentional steps to create a peaceful and purposeful environment for your family. I want to also give you a little preview for what's coming. You can look forward to some really awesome expert interviews coming up about this very topic in the weeks to come. So be sure you're tuning into our podcast on the regular. Make sure you've subscribed to the Families of Character show so that every time we launch a new episode, you're notified and you can listen to the next one. But for now, let's kind of dive into this, okay? I want you to picture this. You walk into your house after a long day, okay? What do you see? Is it a place that welcomes you with warmth and peace? Or does it feel like another to-do list waiting to be tackled? The reality is that our physical environment directly affects our mental and emotional well-being. And research shows that clutter and disorganization significantly increases stress, that feeling that you have this mental load just weighing on you. And it also increases anxiety, that sense of I'm forgetting something or everything that's just too much, right? According to a study published in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, women actually who described their homes as cluttered actually had higher levels of cortisol in their system, the stress hormone that we carry around, compared to those who described their homes as restful and restorative. And it's not just adults who are affected, children also thrive in environments that are predictable and structured. And when our homes are in order, our minds are clearer, our hearts are actually lighter, and we can focus more on what truly matters. We talk about this all the time at Families of Character. What are the critical few things that really matter? Spending quality time with our loved ones, growing in faith, and serving others. When you have order in your home, it makes it very easy for you to focus on those three things. So I want you to just consider, as Christians, we know that order isn't just about having a tidy house. I want you to hear that because some of you are going, oh, this is too much and this is never going to happen for me. But I want you to really tune into this message, okay? Order is a reflection of something deeper, right? God is a God of order. From the very beginning of time, at the beginning of creation in Genesis, we see that God created the world with purpose and structure. He thought about what to create first and second and third and so on, right? In 1 Corinthians 14:33, it tells us God is not a God of disorder, but of peace. When we bring order into our homes, we are mirroring God's own design. Order helps us also to grow in other virtues like patience, self-control, and gratitude, right? Having order in the home allows us to be more present and intentional in our parenting. Why? Well, because we're not carrying around a bunch of mental overwhelm because our environment is emotionally overwhelming and physically distracting to us. And then, most importantly, having order in the home creates an environment where love can flourish. So, if you're ever feeling guilty for wanting things to be more organized at your home, let go of that guilt, okay? Seeking order, I want to emphasize this, isn't about perfection. Just like Ali wrote in her blog article, if you tighten that string on a violin too tight, what happens? It's going to snap, right? So we're not trying to be perfectionistic. It's about creating a space in your home that fosters peace and joy. Okay. So I want to just give you some small steps to transform your home. Okay. I know some of you might be thinking, my house is a total mess. I don't even know where to start. Let me reassure you, this is not about a massive home makeover. Okay. It's about small, intentional steps that create a lasting impact. So, here are a few practical ways that you can bring more order into your home this season. First, I like for you to just start with a simple reset. We call this the 10-minute tidy up. Okay, in the evening, before everybody goes to bed, set a timer in your home and take 5 to 10 minutes each person and tidy up your areas, right? Play some music and make it fun. But just 10 minutes each night to tidy up your own personal space so that when you wake up the next morning, your space is pleasing to you and your kids' space is pleasing to them. They know where to find things. Start small with just 5 to 10 minutes and then celebrate when they've tidied up. And you do the same along with them, right? We always talk about a parent first approach to parenting, which means that you lead by example. You say, I'm going to tidy up my room as well. I'm going to get the wipes out and wipe down my kitchen sinks or my bathroom sinks while you're wiping yours down as well. Okay. Teamwork makes the dream work, but that 10-minute tidy up is a real easy habit to put into place even tonight. Create family stations. That's another tip, right? If you have designated spots for backpacks, shoes, and lunch boxes, mornings are not a scramble, right? There's a couple in our coaching series who has been just such a delight to work alongside with. They've shared that one of the things that really helped them get order back in their home was to create a space just inside their back door where they call it the landing pad and the launch pad. So you can imagine the launch pad is where they put everything the night before to get ready for the morning, where they're going to launch out to school and work. So their work bags, backpacks, their anything that they need for the next morning is on the launch pad. And then they have another place next to it that's just called the landing pad. Okay. And that's where you put everything when you come home from work and from school. Naming places in your home, giving them a fun, catchy name helps. Hey, go put that in the launch pad. That'll be a great thing for you to have ready in the morning when you wake up. Don't forget to get your landing pad, everything in the landing pad, right? Unpack your lunch boxes, make sure that your backpacks are hung up, and that way you'll be able to find it, right? Or that way later on in the day you want to go back to get something out of it, you'll know that it's right there in the landing pad because you've landed back at home. Okay, so it's fun to just set up little spots in the home where you can create family stations and people know what's expected of them. That's huge when it comes to creating order in the home, is just having a place for things. And then the other piece of advice is just to declutter one space at a time. You don't have to tackle the whole house at once. Just choose one area. If your kitchen is overwhelming you, think, what is the one thing that drives me most nuts about this kitchen? And that's the thing you start with. Maybe it's under the sink. You can never even get to the, detergent to put in the dishwasher because things are just falling out, old grocery bags or cleaning products or whatever it is you have under there. It's just a mess. What if you took 5 minutes to open that cupboard, take everything out, toss the things you don't need, put back the things you want to keep, and just group things in a nice, orderly fashion and make a little space for things? That makes a difference, okay? Small wins add up. Choose a kitchen counter, a drawer, a closet, a spot in your garage, and just do the one thing, okay? And then I like to tell people embrace the 1 minute rule, or we call it also the one touch rule. If you touch something, if you've got a coffee cup in your hand in the morning and you finish your coffee cup, instead of setting it down in some random place, 3 rooms away from your kitchen, just walk right over to the dishwasher and put that cup in the dishwasher, right? It takes less than 1 minute to get from one end of your house to the other, even if you're as far as away as you can be, to do the right thing and just put it where it belongs. Again, this parent first approach, this modeling, hey mom, what are you doing? I'm going to go put my cup of coffee, that I've already drank out of. I'm going to go put it in the dishwasher. Oh, so then they start seeing you doing the right things in the moment and just picking up after yourself little by little. And then they want to do this too. So if it takes less than a minute to do, just do it right away. Other piece of advice, set a Sunday prep time. Every Sunday we have a family huddle, okay? We've been doing this since, let's see here, I don't know, for 6 years or more, every Sunday. And we just take time to set our family up for success for the following week, right? So what we want to do is we want to kind of plan meals for the week. So I sit down and say, guys, what are we thinking for meals this week for dinners? Okay. We don't plan out every breakfast or lunch. We just kind of keep breakfasts and lunch the same around our house. That helps us keep order as well. Is if we have 3 items for breakfast and the same, 2 or 3 lunch items, then that we just keep it like that. But then we plan out dinners, right? What are 4 dinners that we can make at home, and then 1 dinner is going to be leftovers. But we sketch out the meal plan for the week, and it's okay to change around days or whatever. But then that helps us to grocery shop for that. Even on Sundays, we could meal prep, so we could make a big batch of chicken in advance, or make 6 cups of rice and have that ready to go in the fridge so that we can put meals together easily. But just prepping for the week on Sundays is a good way to work together as a family and again, create some order, right? So these are not things you're having to think about after you get home from work, from, all the things that you've been thinking about every day. If you have that plan, boom, that creates a sense of clarity in your mind and frees you up to focus on the things that matter even more. Another thing we do that I highly recommend is reviewing the family calendar. Man, if you can look at 1 week ahead with your whole family, your spouse and your kids, and you can post a calendar in your kitchen. I tell people, put it in your kitchen. That's where we spend the most time together, right? Or that's where people go for snacks 3 times a day or whatever. Like the kitchen is a good spot to have kind of a command center where kids know where to go, your spouse knows where to go to access the events and the activities for the week. So post your family's calendar up on the fridge and go through it day by day with them so that they know what's coming and they can start creating order in their own lives by preparing and getting responsible and being ready for basketball, for wrestling, for dance class, for the science fair project that they have to turn in on Thursday, right? Order when it comes to the calendar helps with these executive functioning skills. If you want your child to be able to leave home with the ability to manage a calendar, a work calendar, a home family calendar, you got to condition them for that now. So, reviewing just 1 week at a time. Maybe if you have really little kids, you only look at 3 days at a time and you just post the activities of the next 3 days on your fridge. This is a game changer, folks. Okay, so choose one of these that you want to work on. You're not going to do all the things that I talked about here today, but each of these small actions, when they're done consistently, help create an atmosphere of peace and stability in your home. And when people feel like home is a place of rest, let me tell you, everybody thrives. Okay. So I just want to encourage you today, bringing order into your home is not about having a Pinterest perfect house. It's about creating a space where your family can thrive, a place where your kids feel secure, a home where you can recharge so that you can go out into the world and serve as God has called you to serve with all your great gifts. So remember, small steps matter. Do not let perfectionism hold you back. Start with one little change and watch how it shifts the atmosphere of your home. And listen, we would love to hear how you are bringing more order into your own home. If you clean out that one drawer in your kitchen that's been driving you most nuts, snap a picture of yourself with the drawer and post it to social media and tag Families of Character, or text me that picture, right? 720-500-5494. Text me a picture of what you did to take one small action towards making your home more orderly in this season of family life. You could also email us a picture and tell us what it is that you're doing to help take small steps to get more order back in your home. Listen, let's support each other on this journey, right? We are a community here at Families of Character. Share your wins. It helps give other people motivation to do one small thing towards bringing order to their home as well. So, thank you for being part of our Families of Character community. We love all the messages that you're sending us on social media and through our email. If you ever want to share anything, hello@familiesofcharacter.com is our email address. Reach out to us. We love to know that you're out there listening, that our content is benefiting you. And then also, if you can just send this episode on to someone in your circle, just pick one person that you're going to send it to. Maybe it's your spouse, to get you both on the same page. That would really help us get the message out and continue to make these record downloads week by week, spreading this message of intentional parenting where we're raising kids of good character. Guys, thank you for joining me today. And until next time, keep leading your family with love and intention. Take care, and I'll see you on another episode of our show real soon.